What do the desert of Utah in the USA, the volcanic slopes of Hawaii, the Gobi Desert in China, and a small patch of land in the Urals have in common? At first glance, nothing, but it is in places like these that analog lunar and Martian bases are being created today. Unique complexes where scientists, engineers, and researchers are modeling the future. Space missions. Such projects help study humans in isolation, test new technologies, improve life support systems, and prepare for the future, for exploration of the Moon and Mars. This has long since become an international scientific field. Today, analog bases operate in different countries around the world. Each of them tackles its own tasks. Some are focused on research, others on crew training, and still others on educational programs. And then we had a question. Is it possible to take the next step? Is it possible to create a next generation analog Martian base? Not just a research and scientific facility, but a base that could be accessible to anyone interested. A place where science, education, popular science tourism, citizen science, analog space missions, and modern technologies come together. A project that will not only help prepare for the future exploration of space, but also involve thousands of people in this process. It was with this question that the story of the Martian Base project began several years ago, the Ural Mars Observatory. What we have already managed to achieve and why, in my opinion, this could become one of the most unique scientific and tourist projects of the new generation. In
the world, there are not many places that resemble Mars or other extraterrestrial landscapes. For example, such locations were used to film famous movies like The Martian, Star Wars, and Prometheus. One of the most well-known locations where such films are shot is the Wadi Rum Desert, which is located in Jordan. But to our surprise, there are also such locations in Russia that resemble Mars, and there are only a few of them. When we were studying where we wanted to implement our project to build our Martian base on Earth, we naturally started to look into what similar places exist in Russia. And after some time, we discovered what is called the Ural Mars. That's an incredibly amazing location. Before this, I had seen photos and looked at how it all appears, but photos just don't convey it the way being at the actual location does. As soon as this location was discovered, our team immediately set out for it, to see it, walk around and feel whether this place was right for us. And when we arrived there, we realized that we had never seen anything like it before. And this is exactly where a Martian base should be built. So the location itself. Ural Mars is a former abandoned quarry. They used to mine refractory clay there. That is, no harmful, let's say, chemical substances or anything like that were used during extraction because they were simply digging for clay. But of course, you might have your doubts about that. That's exactly why a year ago we conducted soil and water tests to make sure the place is truly safe. In fact, on the slide you can see just a few of them. Photos we took showing what this location looks like. And I think you'll agree with us that this is truly a fantastic location, very reminiscent of extraterrestrial landscapes like Martian scenery. And in fact, it's the best place we could have chosen to build our future Mars base. Of course, one of the focuses of our Mars base is tourism. When we talk about tourism, we need to consider how far it is from a major city, from a city with a population of over 1 million. In our case, that's Yekaterinburg, or the distance from the train station or the airport. For us, it's practically within an hour's reach. The distance from Yekaterinburg Airport to Ural Mars is only 112 kilometers. If we take the distance from the train station, it's 124 kilometers. But there is also a small town near the Ural Mars location. Yes, there is a small town, Bogdanovich. From there, we can reach it at a distance of just 20 kilometers. At the moment, you can get there from Yekaterinburg via the old highway. Now, by the end of 2026, a 4-lane divided high-speed highway between Yekaterinburg and Tyumen will be built. This highway will reduce travel time to Ural Mars and increase its traffic capacity. The highway will pass just 10 kilometers from Ural Mars. It is also part of the international transport route Europe-Western China. We are creating Russia's first scientific and tourist complex for simulating extraterrestrial missions. A futuristic immersive architecture and infrastructure that creates the effect of a real extraterrestrial mission. The concept combines several directions at once. This includes popular science tourism, astronomy, citizen science, educational programs, analog Martian missions, expeditions, research, and technological experiments. But our long-term goal is to make this a reality. At a minimum, to implement 3 pilot projects in Russia and then scale them up through a franchise model to other countries as well. If we talk about our first pilot project, the plan is to build 20 of these futuristic residential modules. We will talk more about this later. The total area of our complex, where we plan to build the Martian base, is about 3 hectares. And in general, the area of all, let's say, these unique Martian landscapes, this quarry alone is over 300 hectares. And it's important to mention that as of today, more than 10,000 tourists from all over Russia have already visited. We've even come across some foreigners. They come to this location, the Ural Mars, to walk around and feel as if they're on another planet. Some people come here to shoot music videos, others even come to film movies or short films, yes. Some take stunning photographs using various art costumes and so on. All in all, it's a very popular attraction even today, despite the fact that there is still no infrastructure there. And we don't want to just build some kind of classic glamping site there, because that would ruin the whole theme of the area, so to speak. But to build and harmoniously integrate a Martian base into these Martian landscapes. In our opinion, that would be very unique and interesting for many people who come there. So let's now go through each facility that will be located on our Martian base one by one. Our first facility is the Mission Control Center, the brains of our entire Martian base, of our whole Martian mission. This central facility includes a reception area, a VR space, a VR zone where people can travel through space in virtual reality, simulating walks on the Moon or Mars, and carry out various activities. And children in general can feel like pilots of entire spacecraft. Next is the mini museum. There, various meteorites will be on display, along with different astronaut suits and technologies that are used in space today. And maybe we'll even spice it up a bit with some science fiction elements, objects, and so on. Next is the conference area. This is where various conferences and events will take place. We will invite various speakers, scientists, experts, and astronauts. And in general, we'll organize festivals in different styles, maybe, in the style of Star Wars or the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or maybe just in the style of space exploration. And further, in this Mission Control Center, there will also be a branded store, a merch shop, because everyone wants to take something with them when they leave unique places or locations to bring back a souvenir as a keepsake. And we have also planned various interactive experiences where people won't just be buying some artifact. Yes, and through certain quests, events, competitions, immersive experiences, and searches, they will acquire some artifacts, yes, but still, they will also be able to buy something interesting for themselves directly in our merch shop. So basically, this is how you can see what each area in this central facility looks like. There's the VR zone, the branded shop, the mini museum, and the reception area. It's also planned that all our staff, all the service personnel will of course be dressed in a specific style in uniforms, as if they are real members of a Martian mission. Our next favorite is the astronomical observatory Ural Mars. By the way, we might give this facility a name. Maybe name it after someone, right? This is in fact our flagship scientific facility at the Martian base, equipped with professional telescopic equipment. We plan to order this equipment and collaborate with AstroSib. This is one of the leading organizations in Russia for the production of professional telescopic equipment, telescopes and domes for observatories and the manufacturing of various lenses. And of course, this facility is needed so that people can observe space. Amateur astronomers can even rent this observatory for a whole day and conduct their own research. This facility can also be used by various researchers, young specialists, and students for conducting their own research projects and so on, and of course for educational purposes as well. Our next facility is the restaurant at the end of the universe, a reference to the book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. By the way, I actually have this book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's Elon Musk's favorite book. I've probably read it a couple of times myself. It's always interesting, new ideas keep coming up, and it teaches you a thing or two. So if you haven't read it yet, be sure to check it out. And in fact, there was a little restaurant like this in the book. It was called The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. People could come there and watch as the universe basically collapses when the end of the universe happens. So that's the general theme. Give it a read, it's really interesting. And we're going to have something like that in the form of several stylized food trucks. As you can see here, there's a sign that says Mars, and that's not the final one. As for how this food truck will look, we're still planning to refine it further. Also, all the food and its presentation. This food will be themed, inspired by science fiction culture, and served in an unusual, creative way. Our next facility is a futuristic longevity and recovery center. It's a kind of complex. It brings together advanced technologies for regeneration, recovery, and anti-stress therapy to directly improve the physical and mental well-being of our guests. But again, as you can imagine, when real colonists eventually go to colonize the Moon, Mars, or perhaps even more distant planets in the far future, some other planets, their condition will be extremely important. A person's physical and mental condition is extremely important. In fact, today that's not really the case. There is a significant problem with technology, as well as a psychological problem for people, health issues, and the problem of radiation, which is present in space. And so it is very important to monitor the condition of guests, future colonizers, and so on. That's why this kind of tourist and longevity center was invented. Initially, it wasn't planned, but later, as we received a lot of feedback, there were many reviews and questions. And now, just like any hotel or tourist complex, it must include a spa. But we didn't want to create just an ordinary, uninteresting spa, another sauna, hot tub, barbecue. That's not really our style. That's why we decided to introduce and purchase these interesting high-tech capsules, such as a cryotherapy capsule, infrared sauna, flotation capsule, hydrofusion spa capsule, and other capsules like the detox capsule, with specific names already, yes, already specific ones. We chose a specific capsule and also the Vilnanamis, which is also a kind of capsule, or more precisely, a whole system of binaural acoustic and vibrational stimulation. And in general, for those ladies and women who truly enjoy maintaining their personal beauty and wellness, there is also a wide variety of professional services such as aesthetic cosmetology readily available for you right here at this location, which offers through plasma therapy, it improves metabolic processes, enhances skin condition, removes various toxins, and generally restores the body as a whole. So we also thought about and took care of our women by adding these kinds of capsules. The next facility we will have is our Martian residential capsules, type A. This is how fantastic and futuristic these residential capsules will look for us. We have also already managed to build a large prototype at full scale to see how comfortable it would be inside. And I can honestly tell you it's quite cozy in there and there's a lot of space. Be sure to check out our previous videos where we assembled this prototype. Well, it's a large prototype, and in fact, you can see for yourself that there's even more than enough space in there. We've also already worked out the interior in detail. Here are some renders of the space provided. There was also a video where our architect designer explains in full detail what will be placed where and why certain decisions were made. So if you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out later and take a closer look. Our next object is the Martian residential capsules, type B. These are spacious family modules that can accommodate a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children. Here is this capsule. It is designed to accommodate 2 adults and 1 child. But in general, of course, you can add a folding bed. And making an extra sleeping space is not a problem either. So the Martian residential capsule type B, yes, it will also be larger there. The design is quite futuristic, but here the level of comfort is higher due to its size and the amount of personal space. The next object that will be on our Martian base is the life support modules and engineering technical modules. This is an infrastructure complex that will consist of 3 facilities, including engineering systems, storage areas, a laundry, and living quarters for the service personnel. And of course, there will also be a designated territory. Some areas will be developed, meaning there will be specific zones. There will be a trekking trail, a Martian explorer's path, a small sports complex, and a compact sports ground. And there will be children's zones where kids can safely run around, play, feel as if they're on another planet, collect things, design spaceships, and build them from specially designed children's materials. Materials like large Lego-style blocks, let's call them that, and of course various climbing structures for children. We also plan to build art installations and photo zones on the territory of the Martian base. In fact, one of the art objects is already shown here on the slide. This is an art installation dedicated to the Top 100 Founders Club. Yes, friends, we also have a club. The Top 100 Founders are those investors who have invested $7,000 or more in the project, and they are directly part of our exclusive club. And for them, a very interesting art installation will be created. It's also incredibly unconventional and futuristic, as if it's some kind of artifact found on Mars, and it will feature the names of all the top 100 founders who are members of this exclusive club. But in general, we think that at some point we will invite various art masters, perhaps in the format of festivals, like Burning Man, where people come in their themed vehicles and bring their art installations. And in a similar way, I think we will also hold such festivals, and some of the art objects will remain with us, so to speak, and over time they will gradually accumulate. They will harmoniously accumulate and integrate into our Martian base. Next, I would like to share with you our achievements and what we have managed to accomplish since the launch of the project. Our first achievement is our project itself. It made it into the top 300 best ideas in Russia at the Strong Ideas for a New Time forum. This is a forum organized by the Agency for Strategic Initiatives and the Roscongress Foundation. Every year, about 30,000 different ideas and projects are submitted, each at various stages of development. And out of 27,000, if I remember correctly, last year there were 27,000 ideas, we made it into the top 300 best ideas. And I believe this is a very significant achievement, because it's very important when not just one or two experts evaluate your project, but when there's a system, almost like voting. There are different selection systems for how these projects make it onto a certain list. And one of the criteria is, in a way, recognition by the community. We even received special badges there for getting a lot of different likes and comments on our project. And of course, a large number of experts evaluate the projects there as well. And in this way, the project passes the selection process. Our next achievement is that we received support from the Investment Promotion Agency of the Sverdlovsk region. This is a government organization that is engaged in the development of the Sverdlovsk region and attracts various projects, companies, and startups to the region. They support and accompany these projects so that they can comfortably implement their ideas within the Sverdlovsk region. Furthermore, we have received support from various leading scientific institutes and organizations, and have also begun developing joint educational and research programs. Next, we have fully developed all the architectural concepts and the project documentation for each facility. After that, a prototype was created. Here is a prototype of our first futuristic capsule, built to real-life scale. Watch the video if you haven't seen it yet. It's very interesting to see how we assembled this prototype. Of course, not this one, but rather large, real-size versions that we actually need. Next, our project successfully passed the main stages of approval with state and municipal authorities. Currently, the process of formalizing the land plot is being completed. This is on the territory of Ural Mars, which will allow us, right after this, to move on to the next stage of the project's implementation, directly on site at the location. Furthermore, we have developed a very detailed financial plan, financial model, and a comprehensive business plan for the entire project. We have already formed a large international community, and today there are more than 4,000 partners, participants, and investors. They are participating in our project. We have also launched 2 YouTube channels. The first is in Russian and the second is multilingual. In addition, we have launched several Telegram channels, groups in WhatsApp and VKontakte. All of this allows us to maintain communication with our audience, our participants, investors, and partners. And now the project is moving from the concept stage to the stage of direct engineering implementation, and the project was also presented by us at the Expo Travel exhibition in 2025. We have spoken at various venues, business clubs, and investment forums. In general, we are regularly invited to speak everywhere, and there is a lot written about us in various media outlets, about what we are planning to do, about the fact that the first Martian base in Russia will be built very soon. Now let's move on to our partners, to our support. And in general, I think that the most valuable asset we've gained since the creation and launch of this project is the people, the organizations that support us, that collaborate with us, that walk this path with us on this journey to realizing the first Martian base. In a year, we didn't just create a project, we didn't just put together a concept, we didn't just work it out. We gathered around us an entire community of people and various organizations, including government organizations who, just like us, believe in our dream and want the Martian base to be built, realized, and fully launched. In fact, thanks to you, thanks to our partners, we are moving forward and moving at an incredible speed, I would say. And overall, we are open to collaboration with various institutes, universities, and different companies that are engaged in the production of modular homes. Maybe let's build together, let's implement similar capsules together at your production facilities. We are also open to various investment proposals. Yes, you can invest either through crowd investing or you can invest directly by acquiring a stake in the company. Yes, maybe through certain formats of investment agreements and so on. In general, all of this is open for discussion, and we take a fairly flexible approach to all these matters. And in fact, we invite everyone who shares our idea, our dream, about the development of science, popularization, tourism, the advancement of science, and in general, the development of space, if we are talking about our first pilot project related to astronomy and space topics. Next, let's talk about the project team. That would be me, Artyom Leonov. I am the founder and creator of this project. I have over 7 years of experience. I am an entrepreneur, and for a long time now I have been interested in various scientific fields, as well as engaged in different kinds of expeditionary activities. Next is Ruslan Balash, who is our chief architect and designer at the company. He graduated from a specialized institute, the Novosibirsk State University of Architecture, Design and Arts. He holds a master's degree in architecture and in fact has dedicated more than 7 years to this field. Ruslan always has a very unconventional perspective, very unusual, interesting and futuristic. And in fact, he is truly the essential person who can directly create these absolutely incredible things that we so desperately need for our success. Next, let us introduce another key member. Maxim is our dedicated head of public relations and also serves as a highly experienced startup advisor. Furthermore, he is also, you could certainly say, the primary person responsible for overseeing the entire IT direction within our company. This is a vital role because maintaining the daily operation of crowd investing and supporting the technical platform also takes quite a significant amount of time, focus, and professional effort from everyone involved. Even though we rent this platform, we still constantly have to monitor the entire infrastructure as administrators. Sometimes we even add something new, yes, some new features to this platform. We are constantly testing something and so on. And in fact, Marina Makurina is our head of the entire SMM department. Everything related to social media, all the responsibility for that lies with Marina. At the moment, we are facing the following tasks. This is what we are working on right now. Most importantly, the process of registering the land plot is still ongoing. This is the main task that we need to complete in the near future in order to move on to the next stage of the project. We are also working out all the technical documentation for each of our sites in more detail, because having a concept is one thing, the architecture comes next. Then of course there's the matter of working out the entire interior in more detail, as well as dealing with various complex engineering notes. Because everything we are doing is quite new, no one has implemented things like this before us. That's why we constantly have to invent something new and bring in certain specialists to solve one engineering issue or another. We are also looking for various partners and partner organizations, and additionally signing different memorandums of understanding with them regarding what will happen when our Martian base actually becomes operational. We are also working out in detail what will take place there and what the content will be, as well as thoroughly developing the master construction plan so that when our location is ready, we can move in directly and begin implementing the project directly at the location itself on the actual land. So in general, these are the main tasks we are facing. And of course, developing our community is also a priority. Naturally, attracting investment is crucial because implementing such a project requires a significant amount of funding. But overall, for now, we are managing to handle these tasks. The further we progress through the stages of our project, the easier it becomes to attract investment and grow our community. Because it's one thing when we had just started, when we only had an idea and a couple of slides and nothing else. It's a completely different story now that we've already done a lot of work. That's what I've been telling you about today. And of course, at this stage, there are many more people who want to invest in us and collaborate with us. Once we have fully secured the land plot and begin construction, once we bring in our first space capsules and set them up, I think there will be so much funding available that we could even start building our second Martian base nearby. Next, specifically, if we delve deeper into the investment aspect, if you are considering investing in our project, here are the factors that make our project attractive for investment. The first is a unique asset and a unique location, because there are only a handful of places that resemble Martian landscapes. The second is a rapidly developing market and a market of the future, the market of science tourism. All of this is currently gaining momentum, and interest in science tourism is growing. It increases year by year. The third is we have many sources of income. Be sure to review the financial plan and financial model of our project. All of this is available both in the investment dashboard on the platform and in general. You can write, or rather, you can contact customer support and they will send you the financial plan so you can review it in more detail. Fourth, there is a high media and viral potential, and I myself have thought about this many times. I believe this project will be extremely viral. Well, in any case, time will tell. Although even now, the location is already quite well publicized, and you could practically shoot science fiction movies there right now. Fifth, it's a scalable model, both through expanding the Martian base itself, selling intellectual property, and developing through franchising. Sixth is a strong international community, which already exists and is growing larger and larger every month. And seventh is the synergy between science and tourism. And in fact, we won't go into detail about the numbers right now so that this video doesn't end up being all about that. For those who are interested in such topics, I'll repeat once again, write to us and we can discuss the numbers in great detail, or we can send you the financial plan for you to review. I'm also always open to dialogue and ready to jump on a Zoom call with anyone interested to discuss all the figures and to explain the financial aspect in more detail. And in general, crowd investing, the tool we use to attract investments, is just one of the instruments we utilize. It not only gives us the opportunity to receive investments and further finance the project, but first and foremost, other key advantages include gaining an international audience, because when we enter, for example, other countries, this will allow us to scale very quickly through franchising thanks to having a large international community. And overall, it's a global partner network that is already developing for us now. In summary, I want to say that we are not just creating some kind of tourist complex, but rather we are building a sort of platform ecosystem. And if you look at all this locally, this is our first Martian base, which brings together science, tourism, experiments, education, and so on. And all of this is possible to expand. That is, the Martian base itself can be expanded with new facilities, new complexes, new educational programs, and so on added. And if you look at it on a more global scale, this is the creation of a future network of science-themed tourist complexes with different scientific focuses, including scaling up Martian bases at various interesting locations throughout Russia, across the CIS, and later expanding directly into other countries as well. I think that someday we will actually manage to build a Martian base, including in the famous Wadi Rum Desert, which is located in Jordan, where the movie Star Wars about Martians was filmed. There are others, but our first pilot project is the Martian base on our own Ural Mars. When people first built the earliest observatories, many didn't understand why. When the first railways were constructed, many thought it was impossible. Every major project begins with an idea, and we believe that the scientific tourism of the future will look exactly like this. Right now you are witnessing the very first stage of our big story, so how can you become part of our project? First and foremost, subscribe to our social media channels, follow the project and its development, like our posts, support us with your comments, and invite your friends and acquaintances to simply subscribe and keep up with our project. After all, it's truly fascinating to watch how such an unusual project as a Martian base is being developed and built. Secondly, be active members of the community. As I mentioned, invite new people. Sometimes we hold various promotions and contests, so get involved and participate. You can also create photo and video content about us and share it on your own platforms and social media. You can also join the exclusive Founder Top 100 Club. These are the people who have invested $7,000 or more in our project. They join this exclusive club of our visionaries, our very first founders of this Martian base. Feel free to propose various partnerships. We are always open. Yes, we are always open to new ideas and new proposals. Write to us, make your suggestions. You can also simply become an investor through crowd investing or contact me directly to discuss any direct investments. Yes, not through crowd investing, but through another format of joining the project, because crowd investing is mainly for micro investments. There people invest up to $10,000 with us, but there are also those who would like to invest more. Some want to invest $100,000 right away, or $200,000 to $300,000, and we are open to such proposals and ready to discuss them. Also tell others about our project, shoot videos, publish information and news about us, and in general support the development of science, support space, and support popular science tourism in Russia and around the world, because by developing and, so to speak, spreading support for the space industry and colonization to the masses, whether it's Mars, the Moon, or elsewhere, through these actions we are also promoting our project. Because our project is directly connected to a Martian base, simulating an extraterrestrial mission. Nevertheless, even though we are on Earth, this is a fascinating futuristic project where you can feel as if you are on another planet and part of some grand, exciting mission.
We are creating a place that will inspire thousands of people to dream, explore, and develop the technologies of the future. Follow the progress of the project and join our community. The future is being created today, and we are building it together.
Not only are our investors and partners awaiting the project, my son keeps asking about it too. He keeps asking when are you going to build a house on Mars? So that's another motivation to keep working hard on this.